This is Akin, aka Jack is the Truth. I'm delighted to be joined by the voice of BT Sport Boxing, Mr. John Rawlings. How you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you. Good to be here.
It's a pleasure talking to you. We're here at the press conference, the announcement for Nathan Gorman versus Daniel Dubois. How do you feel about that fight?
Exciting, isn't it? It's a British title fight, and it's one to rank with one of the best British title fights that we've had in recent years. You know, Anthony Joshua against Dillian Whyte was a big one, and I've got a long enough memory to go back to Gary Mason and Lennox Lewis. There have been some terrific British title fights over the years, but on paper anyway, this looks as though it could be special because you've got two fighters undefeated, two fighters with very different styles, and it's whose style is going to prevail.
From a promoter's point of view, it's great that Frank has amassed a stable with so many prospects or contenders, heavyweight contenders. From a network's point of view, do you think that it's a good thing for these two young fighters to meet this early on in their career?
Yeah, why not? And I think the situation is with this one that, well, it obviously depends on how the fight pans out, but defeat is certainly not the end of the road. Whoever loses here is going to be able to go on. It's not as though it's the end of a career. You know, Daniel's 21, Nathan a year older. They're still babies in boxing terms. But whoever wins is going to be able to use it as a springboard to greater things. And with Joe Joyce in the equation, clearly there's going to be the very real possibility of one or both of them meeting with Joe in the not too far distant future.
Absolutely. We've seen that defeat obviously isn't the end for heavyweights. Likes of Dillian Whyte and Dave Allen, who recently headlined his own show, have proved that the exceptions to the rule. But they also have this notoriety about them. They're able to sell a fight. They're able to talk up a good game. Would you think that either Nathan Gorman or Daniel Dubois have these same attributes? I'm asking this question because a lot of attention or notoriety that Nathan Gorman has is because his name is attributed to Daniel Dubois. Could he potentially headline his own show if he was to lose this fight?
I don't see why not. I think boxing fans are a little bit smarter than you give them credit for. You're suggesting that, or it sounds as though you're suggesting that, you know, coming out and saying something outrageous at a press conference or in YouTube clips is going to sell the fight. Now, obviously, that plays a part. But British boxing fans know the sport, and they know that Gorman and Dubois are two of the very best prospects, if not the best two young prospects in the country today. And people will want to see it because there's been talk. You know, is it going to be Dubois' power? Is he going to walk through Gorman and register another explosive knockout, or is it going to be the slicker boxing skills of Nathan Gorman that prevail? I think there's a lot more to boxing than just going and saying, you know, in old terms like Galento against Joe Lewis back in the 40s, I'm going to moid a bum. You know, there's a lot more to it than that, and I think that these two have skills which are going to contrast and blend and make for it a fascinating fight on the 13th of July. And with Joyce on there as well, provided he gets through Alexander Ustinov on the 15th in Stevenage, provided he gets through that, Joe would move on to be a part of that heavyweight bill, the heavy-duty bill at the O2 Arena. And I think with two big heavyweight fights there, it's going to be something which you won't want to miss.
Okay, I can't disagree with you too much. I think what I was alluding to was the fact that what these fighters do on social media and how they've promoted themselves, they've generated a following that demands that they get put on the same bill. And I just wondered whether, at this stage of their careers, whether Nathan Gorman and Dubois have that same sort of pull. Maybe
not, but they have the ability. You know, answer me the question: Dave Allen against Daniel Dubois, who wins it?
Daniel Dubois, in my opinion.
Yeah, and in my opinion as well. He might not have the social following of Dave Allen, and therefore Dave Allen has a marketability, but in terms of talent and who's going to go further, you know, okay, I might be proved wrong, but for me I think it's likely to be either Daniel Dubois or Nathan Gorman.
Okay. Finally, I'm of the opinion that Frank Warren has amassed the most exciting bunch of heavyweights and they now fought in BT Sports in Daniel Dubois, Nathan Gorman, Joe Joyce, and Tyson Fury. Do you think there is any other stable or network that has such a breadth of talents where it comes to the heavyweight division?
Well, certainly not young, emerging talents. Certainly not.
Well, John Rawlings, I appreciate your time. We look forward to the press conference and this fight ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.